What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a very special episode of Overly Committed. Don't think I haven't been paying attention to the sports news, seeing my Raiders are all over the news recently. We're actually not trading away all-stars. We're actually bringing some in. So, of course, I had to come to you guys with a very special episode of a Raider-focused, committed to unscripted, overly committed just for y'all. So we just brought in the best wide receiver in the league. We shored up our offensive line a little bit. So why am I a little more confused than I am excited for my favorite professional sports franchise? Come take a dive with me real quick. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to explain exactly what I'm thinking and why I'm feeling this way. Welcome to a special Raiders episode of Overly Committed, y'all. Let's get it. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Overly Committed. I'm your wonderful host, Zach Lowell. And as I'm sure you guys have heard throughout the news, the Raiders have been making some big splashes to start out the free agency period this year in the NFL. My phone has been going crazy. Notifications, text messages, everybody blowing me up. Have you seen the news? Did you see AB? What do you think? How do you feel? And I've been responding to so many people, just singular text messages, singular responses. I knew that I had to come out here and just get a video out there explaining exactly how I feel about my Raiders thus far throughout free agency. So in case you've been sleeping under a rock, Antonio Brown, former Steelers wide receiver, has not been having the best of time in Pittsburgh, thought about getting the heck up out of there, and has pretty much forced his way out of Pittsburgh. We thought he was going to Buffalo. AB came out and said, I'm not going to Buffalo. I don't know what news you've heard, but it's not the Bills. So just came out recently that Antonio Brown posted a picture on his social media of him in an Oakland Raiders uniform, and sure enough, that is true. AB is officially going to become an Oakland Raider. Now, AB is a perennial, all-star, fantastic wide receiver, top 3 in the league, if not the best wide receiver in the league. I think that's undebatable. We can all go ahead and agree on that, I would say. So why am I not overly excited to have one of the best wide receivers in the league on my team, my favorite professional sports team? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Let's talk about them. First and foremost, Antonio Brown, congratulations. You did force your way out of Pittsburgh into a situation that you wanted. You didn't let management or anybody else control your destiny. I know I just made an episode talking about loyalty to a city and this idea of super teams. Let me go ahead and just nip that in the bud right now. Super teams in the NFL versus the NBA are much different. NBA, there's 5 people on a court. 3 people that team up, superstars, can make all the difference. The NFL, there's 11 different people on offense, 11 different people on defense. You got special teams, snappers, holders, kickers, punters, returners. You can't just put 3 guys on a football team and say super team. So let's go ahead and NFL, NBA, super teams. Those super teams don't exist like that. Now, the loyalty to a city, that's something different. I think AB in Pittsburgh had kind of warned their welcome. I don't think AB, if he would have stayed in Pittsburgh his whole career, would have been as loved as, let's say, a Barry Sanders in Detroit. AB just signed a $50 million deal over the course of the next 3 years with $30 million guaranteed, making him now the highest paid wide receiver in the league. The Raiders, when I say we, the Raiders also gave up a 2019 third round and a 5th round pick to the Steelers to get him, along with that contract. That part's exciting. The price that we paid for Antonio Brown, a 3rd and a 5th round pick for the top 3 best wide receiver in the league, an amazing value. I will not debate that. You're not going to hear me debate that. We got rid of Amari Cooper for a 1st round pick. We just got Antonio Brown for a 3rd and a 5th. Antonio Brown is a proven stud in this league. That's not what concerns me. What concerns me, a couple of things. Let's first start with John Gruden. I think a football team obviously is from the top down. It's management, it's your coaching. John Gruden has came out, especially with the Khalil Mack. When Khalil Mack left, remember Gruden had that interview and he said, hey, let's not forget, Khalil Mack didn't want to be here. Khalil Mack didn't want to be a Raider. He was under contract and he chose not to play. John Gruden said, I want people that want to be Raiders. They want to support this shield, the silver and black. They love football. They love the game. They're here to grind. I agree, John. I want somebody that loves the game, that loves the team, that loves the shield, this shield. Is Antonio Brown that guy? Because just last week, I'm almost certain that I heard an interview on ESPN with Antonio Brown talking about, I don't need this game. I don't have nothing to prove to nobody. If a team wants to play, they're going to play by my rules or I'm not going to play at all. I don't need this game. That sounds like somebody who's not playing football for the love of the game. It sounds just like somebody who's playing for the love of the money. So Gruden comes out and says, I want someone that bleeds football, who loves this game because they love football. And then we go out and get a guy who a week ago just said, I don't need this game. I don't have to play this game. I don't have to do this. You have to play by my rules. That seems like the opposite of what John Gruden was looking for, but I get it. It's talent, and talent in the NFL reigns overall. So maybe that fit right there isn't the best with what Gruden was looking for, but Gruden also came out and said, if you watch the way this man practices, you can see why he's so great. Gruden loves his work ethic. Okay, fine. Let me tell you what concerns me more than that fit. What direction are the Raiders going in? I need some help with the direction of my franchise. I love that we just got an all-star talent. We just got rid of 2 young players who were on rookie contracts. Amari Cooper was on a rookie contract. Khalil Mack was getting ready to get paid. I understand. But we get rid of them. We get all these draft picks in. We clear up all this cap space. That is the key definition of being in rebuild mode. We are in rebuild mode. We are ready. We're 3-4 years out. We're not win now. We're rebuilding. We have all these draft picks. We have all this cap space. We're going to build young. We're going to have a nucleus of a quarterback, meaning Derek Carr, and we're going to get all these picks and all this salary cap, and we're going to fill it in around. Very similar to what the Patriots do. I get it. It's going to take a while, but I saw our vision. It was a long-term vision, and I got that. So then why in the hell do we go out and give $30 million guaranteed to a 31-year-old wide receiver? Antonio Brown's maybe got 5 good years left. He's in win now mode. He needs to win now. The Raiders are not in win now mode. It's clear. We have all these picks, all this space. We want to build for the future, but we go out and we get a 31-year-old Antonio Brown who's got 5 good years left, and we pay him $30 million, take up $50 million in cap space for a wide receiver? Do you understand how much help we need on defense? How much help we need in other areas? I don't see what we're trying to do. Are we trying to, I get maybe it's because we're going to Las Vegas in 2 years, and we need a big star to take us to Las Vegas with a big personality, and that's Antonio Brown. If you want to sell me on that, okay, that's a big star. We're going to Las Vegas. We have to sell tickets. We have to have a face. So let's get the guy that looks like the Lorax with the freaking blonde mustache and the crazy hair. It's a face. It'll sell in Vegas. I get that. But for the long-term future for the Raiders, in 5 years, Brown's done. Are we not building for the future? We could have kept Amari Cooper and Antonio Brown, traded Khalil Mack away so we would have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 first-round picks next year. We have Antonio Brown and we have Amari Cooper. But we don't know how to handle talent, and that we already, young talent that we already have, we don't know how to handle. I get it. Khalil Mack would have ate his $148 million contract compared to Antonio Brown's $50 million contract. But you know what? Defensive ends are non-negotiable. The most important position on the football field aside from the quarterback. You have to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. A wide receiver is nowhere near as valuable as an edge rusher is. With all this being said, look, I am happy that we got one of the best talents in the NFL. That's fantastic. I am stoked for that. But the guy comes with a lot of distractions. He's always something with Antonio Brown, and I get it. A buddy mentioned it's just been recently, and it has been recently. But you know, the whole recording, the post-game interview, that was a couple years ago. This whole fighting with Big Ben and criticizing and wanting the ball more, he was already getting fed the ball a ton by a Hall of Fame, maybe Hall of Fame, definitely a Pro Bowl and Super Bowl winning quarterback. He had Big Ben. You realize that the Steelers go to the playoffs pretty much every year. They're going to win that division. You're coming to a Raider team who's been to the playoffs 2 times in 20 years. Okay? You have Derek Carr, who is no Big Ben. And you don't think AB is going to be a little frustrated and disgruntled? I don't think so. There's going to be some issues there. Mike Tomlin was a hard head. So was John Gruden. You don't think they're going to fight the same way? I have some concerns. Antonio Brown quit on his team last year. The Steelers were in a much better position than the Raiders were last year, and at the end of the season, Antonio Brown quit on his team. I don't care what side you're on, he quit on his team. That's why he didn't play that last game. That worries me for the Oakland Raiders. I'm happy that Antonio Brown is here. I have my concerns. The big one is going to be, are we in rebuild now mode or are we in win now mode? Because Antonio Brown means win now. But the Raiders are not a win now franchise right now. Some other news, we also went ahead and we got left tackle Trent Brown from the New England Patriots. I am much more excited for the Trent Brown pickup than I am the Antonio Brown pickup. We just moved on from our guard, Kalichi Osemele. Remember, he was a former offensive lineman for the Baltimore Ravens. He came over to Oakland. He gave us a couple really, really good years, but last year he missed 5 games. He had knee problems. He had toe problems. Kalichi Osemele was hurt, so we actually moved on. We sent him to the Jets with a 6th-round pick. We got a 5th back, but mainly we got rid of Osemele because we wanted to clear up some cap space this year. So we send Osemele away, and in less than 24 hours we go out and we make Trent Brown the highest-paid offensive lineman in league history. So in 24 hours, we made Antonio Brown the highest paid wide receiver in league history, and we made Trent Brown the highest paid offensive lineman in league history. Now I get it. If you look at Osemele's contract, we were paying him $58.5 million, but there was no guarantees. And in these last 2 years, he was going to be owed $10.2 and $11.7 million respectively over the course of the next 2 seasons. So we ditched that $58 million contract, about $10 to $11 million per year. We bring in Trent Brown, left tackle. He protected Tom Brady this last year. Tom Brady only got sacked almost a career low 21 times. And if you're protecting the blind side of the greatest quarterback of all time, trust me, I'm going to be happy with you on my team. So Trent Brown is a 4-year, $66 million contract. 36.75 of that is guaranteed, and he's getting $16.5 million per year. So he's getting about $5 million more per year. But Trent Brown is only 25 years old. The man's 6'8", Trent Brown is 25 years old, 6'8", 380 pounds. Man is a physical specimen. Again, if you're protecting Tom Brady's backside, you're good to protect my boy Derek Carr's backside. Tom Brady was sacked 21 times last year. Derek Carr was sacked 51 times last year. It's hard to play your best football when you're constantly on the ground on your back. So we bring in Trent Brown with that kind of money. Obviously, he's going to play left tackle. That's the most important position on the offensive line. So that means that Donald Penn's not going to be our left tackle. He's getting old, probably going to move inside. We're going to take Colton Miller, that young rookie from UCLA we got last year. We're going to move him to the other side, probably play right tackle. We still have Rodney Hudson at the center position. So our offensive line is actually looking pretty good. So don't get me wrong. I like the Trent Brown pickup more than I like the Antonio Brown pickup. Trent Brown is still young. The contract's about $10 million more per year, about $5 million more per year, which is doable. But he's still young. He allows us to not only be in win now mode, but build for the future mode. So I like the Trent Brown pickup more than I like the Antonio Brown pickup. It's not that I dislike these picks, but the big thing in free agency is the Raiders need defense. This is the year of the safeties, and man, does our secondary need help. Instead of spending all of this money on a 31-year-old wide receiver, why can't we go out there and go get Tyrann Mathieu, who's exploring free agency and not signing an extension with the Texans? You've got Jadeveon Clowney is a free agent. Landon Collins was a free agent. I heard he just actually signed with the Redskins. There are so many players on defense. Olivier Vernon just went to a new... There are so many people on defense, and the Raiders need help in virtually every single position on defense. We shored up our offensive line. We have a weapon for Derek Carr. Everything else that we do needs to be focused on that defensive side of the ball that couldn't create any pressure, couldn't create any turnovers, and was made to look like a JV high school football team. Something needs to be addressed on the Raiders' defense. We kept Jalen Richard. I don't know what's happened with Marshawn Lynch. I say we attack a running back in maybe the 2nd or 3rd round. We do need one more person in the backfield, but everything else throughout free agency, all of our first round, we got 3 first-round picks this year. All of it needs to go to the defense. Had to drop a quick episode again. The Oakland Raiders are my absolute favorite professional sports franchise. They tug on my heartstrings like nobody else. I don't mean to be a negative Nancy by any means, but are we building for the future? Are we in win now mode? Why are we giving 50 mil, 30 mil guaranteed to a 31-year-old? I know he's the best wide receiver in the league, but we have so many other holes we could have filled with that money. We also need an all-star to show up so we can have a face when we move to Vegas. I get that. And now I want to hear from y'all. I am obviously a diehard Raider fan. If you're a Raider fan more than anything, hit those comments below. Shoot me a message. Let me know, are you guys excited? Are you happy to have Antonio Brown? Are you happy to get Trent Brown? What do you think we should do in free agency? What do you think we should do in the draft? I am super excited that the Raiders are actually making headlines for the right reasons. A 3rd and a 5th round pick for AB is a steal. Only thing I'm not happy with, 50 mil, 30 mil guaranteed. He's 31 years old. We could use that money for some young defensive players. Hold up. Y'all wait a minute. As y'all can see, new attire, new day. I had every intention. I recorded that video that you just watched March 11th on Monday. Wanted to drop it Tuesday morning the following day. But of course, through Monday night, Tuesday morning, free agency is going wild. The Raiders are making more moves. You know, hats off to Adam Schefter and those guys that follow the NFL draft. I'm trying to follow the Raiders for 24 hours and I can't keep up. Couldn't even imagine how heck those guys must be going through it right now. But for you guys who haven't heard, the Raiders just went out late last night on Monday and they got Lamarcus Joyner, the safety, used to play for the Rams. He's a former cornerback. He's only 28 years old. He now plays safety. He brings a lot of versatility. Exactly what I needed the Raiders to do. We needed to focus on defense. We went out. Landon Collins went to the Skins, but we went out there. We got Lamarcus Joyner. I love the pickup. So far, that's my favorite pickup of the free agency period this year. Very, very happy with that. Since that time, Tyrann Mathieu signed with the Redskins. Landon Collins signed with the Redskins. Tyrann Mathieu signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. Trey Flowers went to the Detroit Lions. Jadeveon Clowney is expected to go ahead and sign that extension with the Houston Texans. So I've had some time. I've had about, 12 hours or so to kind of sit back and reflect, digest some of that craziness that happened yesterday. And even though I'm still a little, confused with the Antonio Brown, 31 years old. It's a lot of guaranteed money. I love the talent. I hate how he forced his way out there. I hate how he is so money hungry that he was willing to tarnish the reputation of the Rooneys, of Ben Roethlisberger, of Mike Tomlin to get exactly what he wanted. He had 3 years left in his contract and he forced his way out. Didn't like that, but I'm happy to have the talent. I think it's a big cap hit for a guy who's in win now mode. But if we're looking to win now, heck, I'll take it. The more I think about the Trent Brown pickup, I love that more and more. He's a young guy. He's only 25. He's a physical specimen. He's huge. He's smart. Protected Tom Brady, who is the GOAT in my opinion. I don't like the money. We're in a salary cap league. We're paying him a lot of money, but left tackle is arguably the most important position on the offensive line. And of course, I love the Lamarcus Joyner pickup. That is an awesome pickup. Le'Veon Bell's still out there. If the Raiders want to make a move, hopefully Antonio Brown can bring Le'Veon Bell over. We do need a running back. So, hey, Le'Veon, what's up? I mean, we're out there spending money right now, so we might as well go get Le'Veon. But I know he's looking for a really big number. Also, Ziggy Ansah is still out there. I know Gruden talked about his raw talent, guy from Utah. He's playing for the Detroit Lions, defensive end, very lengthy, another athletic freak. Would love to go out there and get Ziggy as well. But wanted to make this quick update video. And real quick, I've been hearing a lot about how the Steelers, the woe is me Steelers, the Steelers really lost. The Steelers spent a 6th round pick on Antonio Brown, a 6th round pick, got him through his rookie contract. They re-upped him one time, and they didn't pay him like a top receiver. They paid him like a top 50 wide receiver. They never paid Antonio Brown good money. And they got a 3rd and a 5th for him. Granted, Antonio Brown is accounting for $21 million in dead cap space, which is by far the biggest in the history of the NFL. That's a hurt. I'm not trying to downplay that. But the Steelers got this man in the 6th round. They never paid him what he was worth. And they got a 3rd and a 5th back without ever having to pay the guy. I'm not saying that's right, but the Steelers are sitting there going, I don't know why everyone thinks we're in such a bad predicament. We got the guy for a 6th round. We get a 3rd and a 5th back, and we never paid the man top 3 money. Listen, Antonio Brown was mad at the Steelers for a reason. He was never paid like a top 3 talent. Better yet, the best wide receiver in the league, he was never paid. Antonio Brown did deserve to get paid some money. I just don't like how he forced his way out and tarnished the reputation of everybody out there. So now this is my final thoughts. I'm putting this video out just like this. You guys are going to see this. Again, I love my team. It's Raider Nation for life. Don't ever think that I'm so negative that I hate my Raiders. I'm just unwilling to follow this blind leader of John Gruden, who's been out of the game for 10 years. We have a brand new GM in Mike Mayock. I'm not going to blindly follow this leadership until I see that we have some sort of plan. And I don't know what that plan is, but I'll shut up and watch and let's see what we're doing, because I like the Lamarcus Joyner pickup. I'm liking the Trent Brown pickup more and more. Antonio Brown, if you can go out there and recruit Le'Veon Bell, I'll shut up about it. Until then, peace, love, good vibes only. You guys know what it is. Overly committed. Zach Vol.
Whoever told you you need somebody, don't believe they ass right now. This life the only one that you live. I'm just trying to get some max right now. Get the cash right now, move them bags right now. Don't need nobody that can hold me back right now. Fake friends and liabilities. Every time I turn my back right now. None of stress, y'all just moved on. I ain't doing no favors. We was talking, putting work in. Y'all just twiddled your finger.